Friends, what does it mean to rejoice? I mean, what does it mean to rejoice, to dig deep from that joy that comes from God when it feels like things are not going the way we planned, when the world is falling apart, when you know what hits the fan? What does it mean to rejoice? Because it can feel hard, certainly, I think, these days when there is so much going on. When there are devastating heat domes that move across the country, when there are storms as a result of climate change, when there are ongoing wars driven by greed and hatred, uncertainty about what the future holds for this thing we call the church. So again, what does it mean? What does it look like to rejoice? To keep calm and rejoice in the Lord. It would be fair, or perhaps it would even be an understatement to say that Paul has something to say about rejoicing in the Lord. For all his faults as a human being like us, a disciple who is just trying to do their best, Paul has firsthand experience of knowing what it means to rejoice in a complicated situation. Writing from the confines of a Roman prison, Paul writes to the church in Philippi and extols them, lifts their spirits. He says, "Do not worry about anything, but in prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God." Like that ancient church in Philippi, we need that reminder from Paul, to paraphrase Paul's words, to keep calm and rejoice. Because like many who have come before us, like that ancient church, like all those believers who have come before us, we worry. We have fears. We worry, and we worry quite a lot, actually. We worry about family. Perhaps their health isn't doing so well, or perhaps we're concerned about something that's going on in their lives. We worry about friends or relationships that may be strained, or relationships that are going well, and we're worried about messing something up. We worry about work, about our physical, our mental health. We worry about these things and things that I have not named. We worry a lot. And those are just the things that go on in our lives. I haven't even touched on what we worry about as a church. Those bills that need to be paid, attendance, managing volunteers who make all this miraculous and wonderful ministry happen. And as someone who somehow during the pandemic felt like my pulpit had turned into a broadcast studio, I know the pain and fear and worry of trying to find volunteers to make things happen. And then there's everything else that goes on in our world. I think this is a part of where we have gone astray as a church, as people of faith. We worry about things that in the grand scheme of the cosmos, in the grand scheme of the tapestry God is making and unfolding, we worry about things that are so minuscule. We worry if a nameplate is moved, if flowers are not positioned exactly where they've always been placed. We worry if the music we somehow hear in church is not the same music we've heard as a child. We let all these things get in the way of us tending to our neighbors inside and outside the church, who are hurting like we are, who worry like we worry. Again, like that church in Philippi, we worry a lot. And like them, we do not always channel that energy into the reconciling into the healing works that God has called us to carry out. With all those things, it is a lot. So is there a way for us to keep calm and rejoice? Is there a way for us to live into that peace, into that grace of God that holds our fears, holds our worries, and holds great joy together? For us to live into this peace and grace of God that binds these things. Because, friends, if we can figure out how to make that work, there is something miraculous waiting to break forth. There is something miraculous waiting to breathe something new into our presence. And I want to believe, perhaps like you want to believe, that we've experienced enough worry. We've experienced enough fear and hate, and that we are ready for something new. We are ready to live by a new and gentler way, a loving way, God's way, the life way of God. Writing to the church in Philippi, Paul is filled with hope, even though he's imprisoned. Paul is hopeful for the future of the church, hopeful that they can solve whatever problems come their way through fellowship and grace. There's hope for the church to be filled with the peace and gentleness of God. Peace and gentleness that will subvert, that will turn over the systems that have become corrupt and unjust and need overturning. And it is with God's help that we too can find the strength to participate as co-laborers in this joyous work. Because there is enough love and grace to go around for all who need it. And the church then, as of now, is called to pass it around freely with energy, intelligence, imagination, and love. And I have hope. Hope that we will one day, perhaps even tomorrow, embrace this life way of God, who hears our prayers and grants us peace beyond all understanding. A hope that is rooted in something truly amazing. I experienced this hope over the last couple weeks in a beautiful place called Massanutten Springs in Virginia. Yes, down in Virginia where they too were in the middle of a heat dome, and boy, it was so hot and humid. Though, there was some solace, though, in knowing that you all here back in New York were also experiencing the heat, so. But yes, down in Virginia, in the middle of a heat dome, I found hope in the midst of a middle school youth conference. It was life-giving, so life-giving, to see so many high school counselors who were active in their faith, middle schoolers, adult leaders, friends, and colleagues gathering to have fun, to worship, to learn about how we together can live more fully into the love and the heart of God. What's beautiful is that hope didn't lie just with those truly amazing young people, but also lied with the adults. Those adults who are willing and eager to be a part of what is kingdom building, fellowship building, community building, that seeks to bring about this just and equitable peace that upends our current complacent understanding of how the world works. And that's the good news we so often forget. That the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will change the way we think. It'll change the way we interact with the world. It will make sure that nothing we do is just because that's the way we've always done it, as I think is one of our favorite phrases as Presbyterians. It will make sure this peace of God It will make sure that we embark on this journey together with grace and love so overflowing in abundance that will never be a reason for us to fear, no reason for us to hate, no reason for us to hoard what we have, because there is more than enough for all of creation. Friends, let your requests be made known to God, who hears our shouts of joy and our cries of lament, because there is mercy enough and there is grace enough so that no one needs to fear that God will run out. So as beautifully and as wonderfully made as you are, as we all are, faults and all, let us find rest. May we keep calm and rejoice that our Lord, the living God, is near. One of the things I'd like to do, and now I'm going to see if I'm operating this fancy mic pack correctly, is, oh yeah, wow, okay. I told my friend Izette that she was surprised I wasn't wearing Birkenstocks, and I was thinking, well, I'm bringing my guitar, so that may already be crazy enough, so, you know. But I wanted to just, as a final part of our reflection, sing you a part of a song that they did this past week that was a reflection on this passage from Philippians. So I just invite you to get into a position that you find comfortable and to just meditate, to continue meditating and prayerfully listening as we continue in this time. Keep calm and rejoice, sing with a thunderous voice, there's nothing to fear. When peace from the Lord is near, don't dismay. Keep calm, rejoice, and pray. When life gets you down and it feels like no one's around, God's joy will resound, ensuring that no one's unfound. Joy will rise and clear our cloudy skies. Show kindness each day, live by a gentler way, let love fill the air. Feel Christ's tender care, do your part, go out and live God's heart. Keep calm and rejoice, sing with a thunderous voice, there's nothing to fear. When peace from the Lord is near, don't dismay. Keep calm, rejoice, and pray. Don't dismay. Keep calm, rejoice, and pray.